All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Start and stop. Okay. So, Super Metroid Redesign. You might be familiar with the original Super Metroid, but if you have a keen eye and you notice Samus's falling speed, this is not particularly your usual Super Metroid. This is a ROM hack that was released back in 2006 by the user Drusef, and it makes the game much larger and to a fair bit more difficult as well. There's a few parts that aren't particularly fair. Outside of that, the difficulty isn't absurdly ramped up. This hack was remade and re-released in 2015 under the name Redesign Axial Edition, but Elm is running the original 06 version here, specifically version 2.1 final, I swear.
This is Metroid 06, everyone.
And the reason he's running the original is because it's what has had the most time invested into it, and the re-release version is still going through a few changes, so before speedruns happen on that, Elm in particular is waiting for, 1.6? 1.7 to be released?
1.6, yeah.
1.6, okay. But right off the bat, you can kind of see some of the difficulty changes with the physics changes where Samus falls faster, Ceres escape timer only giving you 30 seconds to get out. And you'll notice that he didn't wall jump in the escape shaft, and that's because wall jump has been made into an item. So you can't wall jump anywhere you please right off the bat, and even once you get wall jump, you're fairly restricted to where you're able to wall jump. And coming up, you can also see that Criteria has undergone a little bit of a graphical makeover. I also just noticed the tiling error in the landing sequence. I've never seen that.
You'll have to tell me about that one later. I didn't notice
Very
it.
minor. So something that's really, really people will definitely not notice is because of the fall speed, it's harder to weave around corners of platforms and down shafts and whatnot. So what Elm's kind of trying to do on some of the falls here, or was trying to do, was ledge skips where you run out off the ledge about a tile and a half and then you turn back around. And that gives you enough momentum on turning around, or gives you enough time after turning around to gain momentum to fall back the way you came and pass up some platforms, which is a bit important because in usual Super Metroid, or not casual, vanilla, if you were to turn around midair, your momentum gets cut significantly. You lose a lot of it. Or you don't need... That doesn't happen. It happens in Redesign, though. The other thing is Morph Ball is really slow, so mock-balling with Morph Ball whenever you need to morph is really important. A lot of values pertaining to the physics and mechanics were changed in Redesign. I assume in the spirit of trying to challenge the player, but it seems like it's more hindering than it is challenging. So these are the kind of things we have to work with all game. So Elm's just kind of going through the early part of the game, much like in the original, waking up Criteria. So coming up, Elm has to do this room in a specific fashion, because ammo management is extremely, extremely important in this run. And I'm not saying that to discredit how important it is in the original Super Metroid, but there are so many doors and parts of the run, especially this being a 2-hour plus long run, where ammo is extremely important. And it can be difficult at times to manipulate drops off of enemies because the enemy drop tables are a bit messed up. Their values do not add up to the total of which they should. Back in the day, I can only assume that Drew Steph didn't exactly know how the drop tables worked, so they're a little bit wonky in some instances.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go into Brinstar pretty soon, and there is a red door that I need to open in Brinstar, 5 missiles. And the problem is, so there's a Zila, one of those googly eye bugs, in front of the door to let you farm off it. But because of how the drop table works, because of the errors that Drew made with it, that Zila will never drop me a missile if my health isn't full. And it only drops small energy, so...
Nice cargo drops on the first one.
Yeah, that was awful.
Oh, man. So with that last missile door Elm opened, there isn't particularly a good place to farm. There's a gamer he could farm that respawns, but that's still not ideal. So ammo conservation, again, really important. He also has to be careful not to do what I like to do sometimes and hit the missile door with 2 missiles at the same time, which cancels out the effects of one of the missiles. So you end up only putting 4 instead of 5 into the door. Thankfully, in regards to all the ammo concerns, Redesign has a bunch of refill bugs littered about the planet, except for in Meridia, which we'll get to that much later. That's actually a bit important. For now, you'll see Elm damage boost off of a Zeb, and damage boosts are rather limited because of the gravity in this hack. Very limited uses. You can't just damage boost off of anything you please. I mean, you can, but it's not really going to benefit you. And first mini-boss, run Spore Spawn. Now, the trick here is to never angle down and shoot, because if you leave the room before the boss is dead, you have to do the whole fight over again.
Yeah, I don't know why that door is open. So, like, it kind of looks like I can just bypass the fight, but I do need to defeat Spore Spawn to unlock some doors later. Also of note is that, you're supposed to return to this room later when you get bombs to get the super pack at the top of this room. But I'm not going to be doing that. I'm actually going to be getting a different first pack of supers than the one that's intended.
Yeah, that was a route change that happened relatively recently.
Yeah, a couple months ago, actually.
We've known about it for a while, but Elm came along one day and was like, hey, this really difficult thing, yeah, you can just do a wall jump.
I mean, it's still really difficult. But basically, it's the task route to get to early Red Brinstar. And it cuts 3.5 minutes of travel out at the cost of bleeding about 2 minutes from not having Charge Beam and having fewer missiles. So that's like a recent route change that I implemented that actually makes the first hour of the run much more difficult than it used to be.
That also makes it a little more interesting because you're not gonna have charge for the first hour of the run. Also, our second commentator is joining us, Sacred Hooves.
Hey everybody, sorry I'm a little late. Been a long weekend. Morning to you guys too.
Welcome.
How we doing?
Alright, we're about 8.5 minutes in.
That's about usual.
Elm hasn't managed to botch anything yet. Majorly, at least. But it's Redesign, anything can happen.
Yeah, there are
Redesign.
There are a lot of things that can go wrong in this run. You'll see especially when we get to Norfair. Norfair in this run is just awful.
Screw Norfair. This hack fueled my hatred for that submap. So, about the wall jump boots. Elm picked up wall jump boots, so now he can wall jump off of surfaces that look like Samus can get a grip on them. So like these metal walls right here, the plating that she bounces back and forth off of. If the surface looks smooth and slick, much like a regular pipe, you can't wall jump off of it. And that was how Drew Steph explained or justified wall jumping being still limited. Most people don't agree with it. It is rather limiting, but we still use it in quite a few spots. You can use it to save a second or two in some rooms. So like right there with that wall jump above the pirate. Which I touch on, because this is just a long trip to get another upgrade. A lot of the beginning of the game is back and forth.
Well, did you guys already talk about the going back and forth for the most part?
What do you mean?
Like, did you cover most of the backtracking? How you have to basically go get one item, and then you have to go to like a different area just to use that item to get something else, to just go back to go behind the item you just got like 20 minutes ago just to go somewhere else.
Yeah, the first half hour-ish, 45 minutes maybe of the run is really back and forth, and I personally don't find it that interesting. You get to see a fair chunk of the planet, however. The run gets really interesting once you get Speed Booster, though. It gets a lot more entertaining. Something that I will make note of really quick is this hack has a key hunt, much like the Metroid Prime games do. But instead of keys or items that we pick up, Elm will be disabling Guardians, which lock access to Torian. There's 12 of them in total, 3 in each area, the 4 areas being Criteria, Meridia, Brinstar, and Norfair. So stopping at the ship, taking a safety... I don't know, did you save or did you just refill?
I saved.
Okay. Alright. That energy tank is rather important. It's kind of unique as well. That energy tank appears in 2 locations in the game. If you pick it up in one, it disappears from the other. And that's relevant because there's
This
a
jump
point
is
where
very
there's
tight, by the way.
this upcoming jump.
yeah.
Yes, this is an awful jump.
That jump cost me, I'd say like 20 to 30 seconds if I miss it on this trip. And I actually have to do it a lot later in the run, and the stakes will be very high at that point.
Mm-hmm.
If I miss it. Thank you for the luck on the Hyper Metroid run. Really appreciate it. Sorry, I really appreciate it.
I was waiting for one of those to come up. So this section that we're going through right now, we're on our way to pick up our next upgrade, which is bombs. But this section here is where you really get to test out the wall jump boots, and it can kind of be hit miss if you're not used to the controls and the gravity of redesign, because you can often think that you did it, but you didn't, so you continue to fall down, and it takes a little bit of practice to get used to the wall jumps, especially in this section.
You'll notice Elm is wall jumping back and forth on a wall as opposed to using one wall. And to stay in line with what I said earlier about losing momentum when you turn around midair, it holds true with wall jumping as well. One-walled wall jumps are possible, but they're not good for the health of your fingers, honestly.
The health of your fingers and the test of your patience, because eventually, sooner or later, if you're trying to single wall jump one wall, one of 2 things is going to happen. 1, your fingers are going to give out, or 2, your patience gives out, and then you just see yourself plummet.
Alright.
And get upset.
I'm about to do the Bomb Chorizo quick kill.
Yes, so this is the first instance where we get a little bit of a change up with the bosses. A fair chunk of the bosses in this hack have weaknesses. Bomb Chorizo's is bombs, so Elm's going to do a bit of his setup. And just like that, instead of shooting a bunch of missiles at him, he kills him with 3 bombs. So Bomb Chorizo is one of the... Let's see. I think there's only 2 bosses? 3 bosses that don't have weaknesses, I think. Yeah, 3 bosses that don't have some kind of special weakness. Those being Mother Brain, Spore Spawn, and Kraid.
GT as well.
Oh yeah, GT. I'm bad mini boss. Let's be honest. Come on.
This room I'm in, I'm gonna do a pretty difficult strat. This room's risky because if you mess up in this room at all, the enemy cycles become really bad, and the zoomers on that platform will just knock you down if you try to jump.
Yeah, they both move off screen, but they both move at different paces, so it ends up being like a chainsaw of frustration.
So, to talk about bombs real fast, you'll notice up towards the map display that there's 3 points. Works pretty much the same as Prime does in the way the timer goes and the way they refill. So if you use all 3 at once, you have to wait like 3 or 4 seconds for the refill to happen. But if you can time it well enough, and I say this with a lot of grace and a biggest if possible, if you can time it well enough, you are very capable of doing bomb jumping. It's just
Oh yeah.
tedious.
Infinite bomb jumping is a thing. I'm about to do one right here. This is probably a lot harder than it looks.
It's definitely a lot harder than it looks.
Especially with the bomb counter. Like, if you just lay it slightly too early, then you're done for.
This is not required at all. This saves about 6 seconds as opposed to doing the room in the intended way, but it's a nice little shortcut that we managed to adapt from the task. There's another instance where we're going to use it. For this route, the IBJ is somewhat required. You don't have to do that one either. There is a route, a potential route that is just absolutely terrible that would require IBJing, but we're gonna stay away from talking about that disaster.
Maybe next year.
So this energy tank, not only is it important because I discussed that you would need this energy tank later because of force damage segment, but actually this energy tank is what enables the route change for the first super pack in Brinstar. So Elm, when he gets there, he's going to have to jump into a pit full of spikes to get the early super missiles, and in turn that will let him get into Red Brinstar a little earlier than usual, cutting out, as he said, about 3 minutes early game, and then you'll bleed about 2 minutes of it throughout the rest of the run.
Yeah, it's like 3.5 minutes of instant time save, and then you lose 2 of those later.
It also puts a bit of strain on the ammo management as we miss out on a 10-pack of missiles, which I guess now would be a great time to explain that. So the missile pickups, the super missile pickups and the powerbomb pickups, mainly just the super missiles and the missiles, have varying amounts depending on where you find them. If you find a missile pack laying out in the open, it's going to be worth 2 missiles. 2 missiles to your total. If you find a pack of missiles hidden in a Chozo orb, that's 5. If you find it hidden in a wall, that's going to be 10. And the rule of thumb with this speedrun is that 2 missile packs are not worth it at all, or 2-pack missiles are not worth it at all. 5 and 10 especially, are most definitely worth it. So, and super missiles, it is it's 3 in an orb and 1 in the open.
That's power bombs.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's power bombs. Super missiles are 2 in an orb or scenery, or in a tile, and 1 in the open. So
here,
as you can see,
here normally
that
you're supposed to go back to Spore Spawn and get the super missile at the top of this room, but this way will get me to Red Brinstar faster, and I can also pick up a super pack here.
Right, you can already see that energy tank coming in handy. It's also going to farm right here, because coming up is the room we're looking for.
The real difficult part about this room coming up, I don't want to, jinx it now, but better we talk about it now than later. After getting these super missiles, Elm's going to attempt to, if he is going to do this, is going to attempt a very big risk jump up to wall jump up the wall. But he also has a final boss sitting on top of that wall, and it is definitely not your best friend. It is definitely your worst enemy, and it makes Ridley look like a joke.
This CAC attack.
Oh wow, okay.
Very similar to the one in Bubble Mountain.
Getting out of that pit is not easy, by the way. It is not easy to single wall jump and gain height in this.
Definitely not.
Okay, so 102 is a fantastic number here.
So the whole reason on the way through he hit the side hopper is if he directly hit the spikes, he'd probably be sitting about, there it is, about the energy that he's sitting at right now, being munched on.
No,
because those
spikes do 60 damage.
Oh, 60. Okay,
yeah.
So we're in close range to what could have happened if you did not touch the side hopper.
This is really bad.
He has to be careful of waivers because they do 23 damage, and you're already low on health in this segment. So again, the energy tank coming in a lot of use.
Ouch.
So If we survived all of that, if he survived all of that, there was literally within about 2 screens an energy tank hidden in a wall that could have restored him and we would have been off and running. Luckily, we thought about saving, so we don't have to do 20 minutes worth of backtracking, but this is the pain that comes in the price of doing this route. Like, it does save a lot of time, but again, this is where part of the bleeding comes into place, if something should happen to go awry.
Dying in redesign runs should be expected. It's not easy at all, and there's a lot of places in the first half of the game which will just cut you no slack at all.
Honestly, I was expecting our first death to be further out. I will be honest.
I was as well, but it's completely reasonable to see how you might fall here, because you have to tank so much, and just due to being so under-equipped or wanting to hold on to your ammo to be able to get through the next door, it can be rather not painful, but difficult to get through enemies efficiently without tanking them.
Yeah, and that's a word we don't use lightly when we talk about it. Like, understand, with the general definition of tanking, you're supposed to be taking the damage for other people. But in this case, you're trying to basically out-damage and out-survive enemies that are going to do well more than your total life on hand sometimes, and just make life disastrous, even if you have a good amount of health.
Okay. Oh, Cack Attack almost knocked me off again.
See, as you can see there, this time we have the more residual proof of the struggle with just that jump and that Cack Attack being right there. Again, this is not a very much so intended route, but this is probably one of the quicker routes to completing Redesign. With somewhat most of your sanity afterwards.
What I'm doing right now was taken from the TAS, and actually the difference between the TAS and this is that the TAS is able to get really high jump, which
Yeah, that's not humanly doable.
There's a lot of stuff in this hack that is not humanly doable that the TAS is able to do, mostly because of so the TAS is able to start an infinite bomb jump in a liquid and transition to air from it, and human cannot do that because that actually, with the gravity, it requires frame-perfect unmorphs and remorphs.
So here's Elm's second energy tank. Energy tanks aren't like the missiles, supers, and power bombs I explained earlier, where their amounts vary based on where you find them. All energy tanks still give you 100 energy, thankfully. Elm just farming up on some ammo he's gonna need.
Speaking of needing ammo, I'm actually going to open this red door now, because when I come back through here, I'm going to need as much ammo as I can get, because I'll be fighting Kraid on my way back here. That won't be for a little while. So I'm going through some nice underwater stuff. I'm going to stop there to set up for a ball boost to get me through this room quicker. And right over here is the first 10 pack of missiles I'm gonna grab. And
so when looking for ammo, we're really looking for where we can find these in the route. And this is... You would get this in the route that would pick up Charge Beam, but this would be the second one you'd get. So in comparison to an easier route, Elm is already down 10 missiles.
He's down 10 missiles, and he's down 2 easily accessible things as supers. To explain where they are, the one that he talked about already is the one behind the Spore Spawn. And back towards the elevator room, there's one on the left side going towards the start the run into Brinstar. There's a Red Raver in the way. There's a super missile block there. These are only one supers, but there's still additional supers you could have, which sometimes makes the biggest difference between, surviving and actually being able to complete the run.
Okay, so third energy tank. That energy tank can also be found elsewhere. That is one of the 2 in the game that are found in 2 different places. Elm needs all this energy because here is a forced heat run, which is Norfair heat damage without various suit. This is really to make... this is an effort to get an upgrade, which would skip an infinite bomb jump that is extremely difficult to get various suit. So This is just a straight run to Ice Beam to make getting Various Suit easier, more safe as well.
This is supposed to be required. So the way to get Various Suit without doing this would require an infinite bomb jump starting out of a pit of spikes, which you're taking constant knockback damage from that. It's extremely difficult to set up. I've tried it for hours on end and only gotten it once, so that's probably not going to be done in runs for a while. Atas, again, has early high jump, so it can just jump into the pipe that I need to get into unassisted.
So one of the things we have to talk about with this heat run is, especially for newer players, if you want to get into redesign, I cannot stress this enough as someone that, starting to get redesign myself into programming. You have to be very concise in how fast you're moving with this heat run. As you can see, Elm managed to finish with 78 damage left to take, but for some newer people, there's an off chance you're gonna just barely get to this room with 2 health remaining, because again, it's very tight, it's very precise, and you have to make sure you farm the energy you need in that second room of this heat run just to make it this far. And then additionally, the fun part is, now that you got Ice Beam, guess what? You're still taking damage in this room, so you're gonna have, say, about 180 or so left in the tank after getting Ice Beam to get back to the save point with Ice Beam. Even though you have that forgiveness room right there, this is still, especially for newer players, this is still a very punishing moment, because it's literally going to determine if you continue on or not.
Yeah, like, you have to do this. If you're playing this normally, you have to do this. There's no really feasible way around it.
And as you can see, Elm not doing too bad at conserving his energy, making sure he has the right amount of missiles. Just staying on the path.
Yeah, these 2 refill stations are really nice. They get used a few times in the run.
I didn't recharge missiles because I'm coming back through there anyway, and I want the missiles for now.
And of course, if you do need it, which in this case it's probably, not a bad thing to do, you can fuel up on your supers and your energy on the way back through this, so that way you can be at almost full power.
So I just stopped there quickly to get super missiles, because once I get out of Norfair and on the way to Various Suit, I'm gonna need them.
The next thing coming up is we're now on our way to Crade.
No.
No, we're definitely not yet.
But I am going to Various Suit, and I needed those 2 supers that I farmed there, because blocking Various Suit is a purple door.
Yeah, okay, so purple doors are rather special. Instead of powerbomb doors, yellow doors, being in this hack, the creator, the hack author, Drusef, replaced yellow doors with purple doors. And if you have an idea of how purple doors work from Metroid Prime 2, I think they were in Prime 3 as well, they require 5 missiles from the Seeker missiles to open. But we already have 5 missile doors in Super Metroid, so what could purple missile doors do? If you can do a little bit of quick math, you might figure out that purple missile doors take a total of 25 missiles, or some combination between 20 missiles and a super. Right now, in Elm's case, 15 missiles, 2 supers. And those are part of the reason why ammo management is extremely important in this run, is because those doors are found in various spots throughout the run, some of them random, some of them actually guarding something. Well timed, right?
Always time for a good pun. But yes, now having Varia, we have obviously our heat defense, and we also have some minor damage resistance. This isn't going to eliminate most of the knockback, but it's going to take off a good amount of ping, even though we have quite a lot of ground to still cover.
So I'm going to be going back into Norfair and making my way to Crocomire to get power bombs. And keeping in mind, I still don't have Charge Beam, and I have very limited ammo at this point, so Crocomire fight is pretty dangerous. Like, you're probably not going to die, but there's a high risk of running out of ammo and losing a lot of time.
this is where in other routes they would be safe to have gotten the extra wall missile that we talked about. If you didn't, correctly all the way through Brinstar, you'd find another one hidden in the wall on the way here. So you ended up going in with about, say, 25 to 30 missiles, and
Well,
depending on your route, you could have about, maybe 4 super missiles.
well, the thing is, if you're going to go that route and pick up those missiles, you're also going to have charge beam. So
yeah, true.
the amount of ammo you have going into Krokmar doesn't matter as much as it does in, say, this instance.
That is a good point. I didn't think about that.
Laggiest room in the game, right here.
I actually do a mock ball there to shrink Samus's sprite so the game doesn't lag as much.
Farming in that room's still terrible, though.
It's pretty
It
bad.
is.
I also, I didn't mention this, but I turned off Ice Beam earlier, and I'll be having Ice Beam off for most of the game, because this game takes a lot of inspiration from Prime, and the beam's rates of fire are different. So you've probably noticed that my power beam is really fast, and conversely, the ice beam is super slow. So it's basically the speeds from Prime. Wave beam's kind of a medium speed. Plasma's relatively fast. Also, you'll see later that I won't be able to stack beams. That's another thing from Prime.
Well, there is a way, but we won't be seeing it on this route. There is an item in the game. It takes a little bit of time going out of your way to do it, but there is an item in the game that allows you to, incidentally enough, actually stack all the beams. Well, of course, except for, Spazer being on top of Plasma. That's still not an implementation here.
At the time of this Axe creation, that was not a plausible thing to have been done.
But yeah, nonetheless, each of the beams are separate or still powerful enough. It's just certain beams are very situational depending on where and when you need them.
Also, hi, Rob.
Good morning, Rob. So it might look a little sloppy or kind of different seeing a Super Metroid run save at a bunch of save points, but again, I just want to reiterate that Redesign does not discriminate. If it wants you dead, it will kill you. If you want to, if you want to complete a run, you're better off saving.
I'm bomb jumping to this super missile because I need a super in this room to open a block in the floor. And what you're supposed to do here, or an alternate solution, is to freeze one of these disc gigas and stand on them. That's what we used to do. But I don't have Ice Beam on, and you also need a charge shot to do that, and I don't have charge. So my only option is to IBJ that. You could also come back with high jump, but that's really slow and pointless.
And
that's
you
still
kind
out
of
of
need
the
the Super
way.
Missile now.
Yeah. So I'm actually, I'm gonna get supers, open this door, and then come back and continue my farming, because I need to be at max ammo for Croc. It's really, really important. I also don't want to miss.
Another thing that Redesign is pretty famous for is death pits. So they're pits of lava or acid of which you can fall into and not be able to escape. And that is going to play a huge role coming up in about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, there's some very special moments where Drew thought, like, you know what? It wasn't much of a challenge for you to do. For example, there's one here in Crockermeyer's room if you're not careful enough. A special moment of where, oh, you beat him, but, you're still not home free.
Yeah, the real boss is not Crockermeyer, it's his room. Wow.
He was gonna give me drops, and then he decided not to.
Again, this is where the frustration of Crockermeyer comes in, because there are moments where he'll be like, you know what? You don't deserve those drops, and will stop firing randomly, even if he's supposed to.
Alright.
But thankfully, we managed to sink him.
So yeah, as Person was saying, your physics are extremely, extremely gimped in lava and acid. You can get almost no jump height, so a lot of these lava and acid pits, if I fall in them, I won't be able to get out. That'll be a death. Including this room.
Yeah, just after Crockermeyer pops out of his muffin, ta-da! You fall in that, you're not getting out. unless you have high jump, and in this case we don't. So, yeah, you're not escaping. Bottom line.
So Elm's got his power bombs. These are rather important, and this is a great time to talk about some of the persistent changes Drusef made to the hack. In that there are some power bomb blockades, a bunch of blocks laying around that power bombs will clear. Once you clear that blockade, in most cases it will be gone for good for the rest of the game. This also holds true with all gates in the hack. So if you were to open a blue gate, the gate would not close next time you come back to it. But if you were to close it yourself, it would be closed again. And though we're not going to come back through this area, Rob here could bomb out his lower spine, I guess, and his arms, but the lower spine will never come back. So that's just a good example. Coming up, there's a better example. There's a powerbomb blockade kind of blocking his way out of here.
There's a powerbomb blockade, and there's also there are actually multiple powerbomb blockades that won't come back. Like that one that I just bombed, that's not going to come back.
Yeah. That's just an example.
Speaking of gates, there are a lot of gate glitches in this run. If you're familiar with the gate glitch from Super Metroid, the green gate glitch.
Oh yeah. And there's one special gate glitch as well.
We'll talk about those in due time. They're almost a half hour to 45 minutes away.
No, not even. There's one coming up in about 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that one. It's not too bad, but it's just, again, with the different physics and the way Redesign's set up, gate glitching is not going to be the same as vanilla. It's definitely way different.
I also had very limited ammo, so particularly some of the green gates that I will need to glitch later in the run, they're going to save a lot of time, and there's actually, about an hour and a half into the run, there's two back-to-back green gate glitches that I'll need to hit.
It's a rather notorious pair.
You will definitely, if you can't get these gate glitches right away out of the gate, pun intended here, it is going to bleed a load of time that you definitely can't afford, especially if you're trying to speedrun it. But if you got the patience, and you know where to farm ammo in case you do run out, it's not too bad.
So I was going to get to this. This blockade right here that Elm's bombing out, this is actually a rather important one, because you come through this room 3 times, I think, 3 or 4 times. So that wall was never going to come back now that Elm has bombed it out. And that just, it saves a little bit of time not having to bomb it out every time you go back and through, whether it's bombs, though if you're going to bomb that out every time with just your bombs, you're definitely saving some time. And then also, if you're going to use power bombs instead, that saves on the ammo. Though power bomb ammo isn't nearly as important as missiles and supers are in this run.
Oh yeah, missiles and supers treat them as your best friend, and only throw your best friend when you absolutely are certain A, you're going to hit with it, and B, you know it's going to do enough damage to help you move on. But with power bombs, again, they open up enough passages, they, open up other secrets, but you can find them more often than, regular missiles or supers, especially when farming sometimes.
So I'm on my way to Kraid now, and I need as much ammo as I can get for that fight, because I still don't have Charge Beam. And I have to take care of some enemies in this room. And, of course, there's a purple door in front of Kraid, so I'll actually be opening that purple door with supers, and then coming back and farming the bug that's in this room. Until I'm able to open it, because it's actually much easier to get super drops here than to get missile drops. Or it's much faster, rather.
Yay, purple doors. So the route used to be a lot more farm heavy. We've managed to cut out a lot of the farming, but this is still one of the spots that kind of retains its spot. on the list of places to farm, just because we're so low on ammo right now.
This particular one actually got really bad after we started skipping charge beam. Or delaying it, rather. I'm getting really, really unlucky. I'm getting all health drops.
Elm is playing on the Wii Virtual Console using a Classic Controller Pro. If you wanted to play this on original hardware, you'd need an ST to SNES or an EverDrive. You can also, if you have a hacked Wii, you can inject a WAD with the redesign file. So the Kraid quick kill doesn't work, not only because Kraid is jacked up on health, but also because the rate of fire for supers is extremely low. There's a high cooldown on that time. But flip side, missiles, if you haven't noticed already, have an increased rate of fire. So Elm can put about 5 or 6 in Kraid's mouth in one round.
I can actually put 8 if I'm lucky.
Okay. So that looked like it was a decent fight.
Yeah, that was a much better fight than I've been having recently. If you run out of ammo, then you have to sit and farm drops. And interesting thing about Kraid's claws that fly around the room and drop stuff is one of them always gives you a drop and the other one never will. I think most people don't know that. So it's kind of a pain to slowly get back individual 2 missile drops during the fight.
Okay, so there's another blockade Elm's bombing out that's not going to come back. Just gotta farm up some ammo because coming up... Oh, well, first let's say hello to Bob Jr.
This missile can be skipped. It's a 2-pack, but it can be skipped with the bomb jump on the way back, on the way through. It's a little more difficult to do on the way back, and we actually passed through it 4 times, so it's actually faster to just grab it than bother with skipping it.
It's the one exception to the missile rule.
Yeah, we don't grab 2-packs except for that one. This power bomb is going to take out a bomb block in this tunnel that would otherwise be a pain to reach. And yeah, I'm about to do the first gate glitch in this run.
Yep. This has a few implications. The first being that it saves time as opposed to going around. The second is that we'll also be using this stretch of land later on to charge a speed boost for some sweet speed booster action. So that was a good attempt.
Yeah, I can definitely...
Making our way down to the most unforgiving part of the entire run.
This is where I was anticipating our first death.
Yes.
This is a very, very special particular piece of fun, we'll call it.
If you haven't been throwing obscenities out of your mouth yet in a casual playthrough, this part will definitely make you do it.
Yeah, this is definitely the most unfair part of a casual playthrough, and this save point will probably be very recognizable to anyone who's played this hack.
Get used to seeing the save point, let's just say this much. For the casual player that wants to attempt playing this, I would get used to seeing that save point and these refill bugs right here. Just because... What's the nicest way to put this without putting cusses involved with this?
I would not say you're going to be...
anything.
You're not going to be familiar. You're going to be intimate with this portion of the game.
So this game, the game throws a giant disc giga at you, and this is actually a room where you have to kill everything to proceed. So isn't that lovely?
And giant disc gigas do a lot of damage. Go figure. So
yeah,
no charge beam, and Elm needs to be careful with his ammo.
And no high jumps, so some of the jumps are just a little bit tighter than they should be, but they're still manageable. But again, ammo management at this point, because we got mini Desigas, we still got the Novas, and now we have the fun part. Once you enter this room, the door locks behind you, you enter this tunnel, and you begin the most painful trial and error next to Ridley. The Grapple Gauntlet.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Yeah, so this is there's not much to say. It's just it's awful. Like
It's especially awful.
Particularly one big cavernous room that I'm going to be going through requires you to grapple off of rippers that are flying around and onto floating grapple blocks. And if you miss a jump, that's instant death. Because there's a giant lake of acid in the room. Fun fact, this is actually the lowest point in the map of the entire game.
if you fall in the acid.
Yeah, if you fall.
So I'll just give you a moment of silence there. So to do this, I don't want to
Yeah.
Same.
interrupt your train of thought.
This is a lot more difficult to do with the physics changes as well.
Ballsy there.
Yeah, for real. Alright, big room done.
All right. Well done. Well done.
Congrats.
Oh, wow,
the-
I saved that. Oh my god.
Oh, I forgot. Complacency room.
Yeah, this is called the complacency room because it's much easier than the other room, but you can still die in it if you miss a jump, and it's easy to forget that. But I'm through it now.
That Elm made that large room look extremely easy, but it's not. It's the gravity works against you, so it's unreal how much the gravity works against you in that room.
I've probably done that room like more than everyone else who's played this combined.
But getting through it on first try is definitely always an accomplishment.
Yeah, that room never gets easy. It's never not scary. Even after all the strats that we've come up with in this game to make things more manageable.
Yeah, the
Even
most
big-
manageable thing you can do in that room is learn to control your grapple swings. If you start swinging too wildly, then you're not going to have a great time.
Definitely not. And the thing that made Elm make it a little bit harder is he actually went
Don't
for the
forget
energy
Guardian.
tank that's there.
Yeah,
This is true.
I'm getting it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
But yeah, that energy tank was a bit of a risk in factoring in, but he did manage to get it, which helps him out a little bit. And this is actually one of the first few Guardians we're coming up with. He holds a power bomb. But behind him is the actual Guardian. And you'll recognize these a little bit more easily by them standing upright. Like all the other chosen statues that stand upright and drop their arms. That's their trigger, and it takes about, I want to say about 20 seconds to activate.
They take a good chunk of time. There's no way to get through the text box any faster.
You can
Just kinda gotta
maybe
wait it
do the bowling skip thing from vanilla,
Yeah.
but that requires a reserve
Even-
tank and is also putting you at risk of dying since you have to be at 0 energy to do it. But yeah, so I'm grabbing that now because the route that I'm taking, I won't be passing here at any other point in the game. And you're supposed to have weight beam for that.
So there's another route Elm can take, but that's a really volatile route. And not because you're going to die or anything, but because
this room, I just
there's
want
a
to point
single
out, I'm
trick.
waiting here because I want to wait for this guy to pass me. There are 2 multi-violas bouncing around this room, and what I used to do is I used to hold a charge for pseudo-screw so that I could prevent getting knocked down this wall jump shaft. But I can't do that anymore since I don't have charge, so I want to time those cycles so that I have an opening to jump through. That worked out perfectly.
Yeah, screaming pinballs sure are
Screaming
fun
rogue
to
pinballs.
sure are fun to put up with.
Yeah. I had somebody, I forget if it was mine or person's chat, come in and
It was
call them
yours.
that. So now that I have grapple, this pretty much puts an end to the linearity in the hack. A lot more is open up to me, so I can go get high jump, I can go get speed. I'm going to be going to get speed first since it's also in Norfair. Less of a trip. After I get speed and high jump, then I can go back to Criteria and start getting stuff done there.
Speaking of route options, nice pirate jump.
Thank you.
Speaking of route options, Redesign has some route changes that could make for faster speed run, but the problem is that all of these changes also make the run considerably more difficult and very questionable towards your sanity.
So this one room here, just as a precaution, again, this is one of those other moments where the game can unfairly take your life. It is possible to get out of this, but there is, I don't know what the word is for that little droid on the elevator thing down there, but...
Yeah, it's just a platform enemy.
That jerk can refuse to rise until you're at your absolute last possible energy.
Also, you have to
before it
time
comes
the
out and
step
rescues
onto
you.
this platform, dude, on the way back. This is the hell run. It's on the way back. On the way through, you can just, like, run forward from the start of the room and you'll always land on it. But here you have to time it, and if you fall in that lava lake, you're dead. Most likely.
All for the sake of saving 12 to 14 seconds.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Like, you can go through the top of the room like normal, but it's just not faster to do so. And I've had runs fall into that lava lake and die. You can actually get out with a really precise wall jump, but it's extremely difficult. And I've actually sat in there with my full 4 tanks trying to do it and not gotten out.
To explain, because I saw the question come up in the chat, no, we are not even halfway done. We're about, I'd say about a fourth of the way done?
Like
A third.
A third?
like
Okay.
40%, maybe.
40%. Alright, that's fair.
Yeah, this is a long game, not only because of the increased size of the planet, but also the restrictions this game tries to put on you. And
It was Drew Stuff's intention to make a 30-minute adventure into a 2-hour adventure, and he did a pretty good job at that. And by 30-minute adventure, I'm talking closer to game time than I am real time, obviously.
So there's another wonderful power bomb blockade that we just removed.
and I'll be removing 3 more.
Yeah.
One of the good things about getting the power bomb by the Guardian that I gate glitch to is that it gives me enough power bombs to get through this section. Oddly enough, those 2 that I just blew up, the tops of them are actually regular bomb blocks, so you can bypass them with regular bombs if you wanted to. But you need a power bomb in this room, so I don't really know why that was put in there.
So tasking an early speed booster, come on.
You still need a power bomb to get speed booster.
Oh, that's
Like, you
right.
still need it in this room. So I don't
Anyway.
understand that decision at all, but anyways.
This is a...
So early on in the life cycle of Redesign
let's talk about this room first.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
ahead.
early on in life cycle of Redesign speedruns, there was also a speed boost escape in this, much like there's vanilla, but this one is considerably more difficult, mainly because of platforming and whatnot, and the rising lava. And the lava used to be on your tail the entire time you'd go up. Until one day, I did something completely out of my muscle memory and shine sparked diagonally right out of this bottom portion here. And when I did that, I noticed that I stopped dying or having trouble in the speed boost escape. Elm was still having trouble, so we sat down and we figured out that for whatever reason, my diagonal right shine spark was causing this room to not be anywhere near as difficult. So this run used to also be a choke point, much like the grapple escape was. But it turns out if you don't go too far left, you don't trigger a special PLM, which causes the lava to rise faster, thus making the lava literally crawl up the room.
Yeah, so basically, in the original game, there's an object that you pass right pretty much at the start of the room that you run through with Speed Booster, and once you pass that on the Y-axis, no, the X-axis. Once you pass it on the X-axis, once you pass it going left, it speeds up the lava rising. Now that object is in that Speed Boost escape, but it's all the way on the left side of the room, and going the path that I did not trigger the lava to rise faster. Most people, when they play this, they will pass through it via some platforming, but the particular direction of the Shine Spark that I did actually skips that. So it makes it super easy when it's otherwise super difficult.
So this is where the run gets interesting. As you can see, there's a bunch of Shine Sparks Elm just did. Speed Booster is both buffed and nerfed. You can no longer do tapping, so if you're familiar with charging Speed Boost in the original Super Metroid, you know that you can tap the run button on certain frames of your run to charge a boost faster. Well, you can't do that in Redesign, but you can still stutter step. And it's been buffed because you can do chain sparking, which is running a Shine Spark into a slope and continuing your speed boost. Elma's going to go for a really difficult Shine Spark here that's really cool and saves a little bit of time.
I think I lost too many frames, so I might not get this.
Yeah, it looks kind of shoddy.
I did it too high. That sucks.
Oh, dang. Well, anyway, there's if you can catch the slope coming out of there, you can just run right under the gate again. And the spark chaining opens up some pretty neat possibilities.
That also looks really cool.
Yes, it looks amazing. But now the hack is now everyone's going to get a little bit more interesting. We're not so funneled into doing what Drew wants us to do. We can do almost whatever we want.
I don't know about almost whatever we want, but we could do a lot more things.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's giving it too much leeway.
So what is our next target now that we have all these wonderful upgrades?
Well, the next main goal is to make our way back to the planet's surface, up to Criteria. But in doing that, we're going to clear out what we can on the way up. So Elm's going to pick up high jump. He's going to knock out a Guardian or two. He's going to glitch this gate. Nice.
There are a total of 9 gate glitches in this route. That's including the very special one that I'll be doing in less than 10 minutes, I think.
Very special one. Oh, yes. Less than 10 minutes.
So I'm going to be grabbing high jump in Brintstar. I'm also going to be grabbing a Guardian that was not really designed to be grabbed this early in the game. We call it the Ammo Guardian because it requires an exorbitant amount of ammo to access. There's a bunch of hidden switches, a bunch of hidden gate switches that you need to find that are behind purple doors. And then on the way to the Guardian itself is another purple door. So it just really, really drains your ammo.
That's a good question, actually. People might not be familiar with it because you don't really see it all that often in the original Super Metroid, but a gate glitch is opening up a gate from the opposite side. So if there's a switch, you'll mostly see it done with gates where switches, the blue, green, or red, pink portions of the switch are on the left side of the gate. Due to the way Samus's projectiles spawn, and the way that projectiles are based off of her horizontal momentum, you can force missiles and supers through these gates. It is possible to also do on right-facing gates, but those are a bit more situation-specific.
Yeah, you can't do the method where you spawn the missile on the other side of the gate, which is the standard one. So for most intents and purposes, you can't do it if the button's on the right. So I just got high jump. you need grapple to get it if you're a human. Task can skip it by IBJing out of the water, which is not humanly possible, as I said earlier. And that actually breaks the game a great deal for Task to be able to do that. It makes a lot of things easier. It would have made the trip to Red Star much, much easier. But high jump. So because the beam combo that I'm not going to be picking up later, it actually takes up Spring Ball's slot in the item menu. So, instead of Spring Ball, Drew did what Fusion did, and packaged Spring Ball with high jump. So I have Spring Ball as well now, and Spring Ball's horizontal speed has been increased by a lot. So there's some really cool Spring Ball strats later in the run.
Yeah, we'll be using Spring Ball to zip through some rooms, as opposed to running through them. At least for a short period of time until we reach another upgrade.
Also, since I'm passing through this way, I went and I got Spore Spawn Super Pack, because supers are going to be extremely, extremely important coming up. Not only for the Ammo Guardian, as I mentioned, but I'm going to need a bunch of them once I get back to Criteria as well.
And 1 hour and 27 seconds in Hero's Charge Beam. And you can get this much earlier, but this is mainly due to the route Elm has decided to take, which any casual player in their right mind would not take.
Also, additional note, you are not mistaken. Yes, you saw a giant side hopper in that room, which, by the way, yes, it will murder your arse if you're not careful the first time through. Because you're not going to have all this equipment when you go to get it. You're going to have next to no ammunition and nothing to fight with, so good luck to you if you decide to get it earlier.
Alright, so I farmed up on that bug, because I'm going to need ammo. I'm actually going to need all of the ammo that I have right now. But I'm going over here, and I'm going to a hidden little area. This is going to have a green gate switch, a remote switch actually.
So in addition to gate switches, or gates staying open when you hit them, Redesign has also added some custom code to detach the switches from the gates, so they can be spread about in a room and add a little bit more of a puzzle element, or an exploration element to finding them. So Elm opened a gate. Though you might not have seen the gate open, the gate is open. He had hit the switch.
So I need to open that. That is one of 2 gates that I need to open to free the Decora. And I need to free the Decora because it will open up the way to the Guardian. Some of these Guardians are pretty unfairly hidden, I will say. The way that you actually need to get to this one is you find this little room with the power bomb in it, and you actually need to find the tunnel that leads back here. Not easy to find unless you really, really look at the map and think and maybe X-ray everything.
Don't show off the thing. That side hopper's a little close.
Yeah.
There's a funny little thing you can do with grapples here that causes Samus to bounce up and down, but the side hopper's a little too close to the left side of the screen right now to really show it off, unfortunately.
Nah.
Unless you feel like...
Nah, we can do this. Alright.
Okay, nice. There you go.
This happens because I think I'm in a scroll PLM or something. I'm not sure.
You're in some block values with the scroll PLM that they don't like that state Samus is in, so she does some funky stuff.
And just because we love it again, here's another purple door.
And another remote gate switch.
Yeah, this whole segment takes... There's 2 purple doors.
This side hopper room coming up. We used to struggle with it so much until I realized that we could actually charge that spark and go through the door with it.
Yeah, this This used to be another choke point in runs. It would just end because those side hoppers do so much damage, and we don't really have a way of killing them with the amount of ammo we just used up. So we would kind of lure them off screen and just farm this bug over here to open the gray door.
Yeah, so this gray door is a kill everything door, and well, that's not really accurate to say.
Kill X amount of enemies.
Yeah, all the doors that are like kill everything doors are kill X amount of enemies, and in that room, the value for that is 6. So you don't have to kill the side hoppers if you don't want to. You just need to kill any 6 things. So for me, that was the 3 side hoppers. I farmed that bug excessively because I was trying to get at least 1 super, because I need 1 in criteria. I usually get it right away, but was unlucky this time. I'm gonna try and do a... Okay, I messed up the strat here. Actually, that wasn't too bad. I try and do a spring ball strat there to hit the Metroid, because it does much less damage than the side hopper does.
So just to recap, we call that the Ammo Guardian because Elm went through 3 purple doors, 1 green door, and 3 green switches. So that's 4 supers. No, that's 5 supers and 75 missiles, and he did all that with 25 missiles and 5 supers. So yeah, it's in a rather expensive portion of the run on your ammo.
That's usually a large part of what goes into redesign is just ammo waste because, hey, let's put about 500 purple doors in one section.
I actually timed that section of the run to make sure that it wasn't faster to come back later with way more ammo, and it's not, unfortunately.
Notice you shut off wave beam again.
Yeah, that's gonna be for a lot later. I'm gonna be going for a very difficult trick in like probably 6 or 7 minutes. No, more than that. Ooh, I almost got that spring ball strat. If you can get the spring ball through this room, it looks really cool.
It's also super fast.
But I mainly turned off wave beam because, okay, wow, what is with this jump? Because I want to destroy some Kagos later, and you have a ridiculous rate of fire with your power beam, not so much with your wave beam. So it's actually going to save me time to have it off.
So this is the 3rd Guardian of the run, 3rd of 12. A quarter of the way there.
Quarterhead.
So I just want to leave a fun little note coming up. The room off to the right of the ship, we used to think nothing much of it until one day a local tasser, Snick I believe it was, managed to get out of bounds and kind of just fooled around in the room, and he somehow caused an earthquake. And the earthquakes are Drew's way, the hack author's way of informing the player or letting the player know that something special has happened, some kind of event has taken place. So Snick exited the room, and suddenly the escape had been triggered. So that room that Elm just passed through has an escape trigger hidden in the ceiling, and it goes. This is more of a no major glitches category. The escape trigger goes in the glitch category. It involves out of bounds and X-ray climbing. But these open rooms are much easier with high jump.
I'm also approaching my personal favorite trick in the game.
Oh yes, this is a really nice trick.
I always love seeing this one.
First I have to grab this Guardian in the sky.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and explain the gate coming up. So for whatever reason, Drew made it so that you can grapple onto a gamer for all of like a few frames, and you can use this to wedge Samus into solid surfaces. As if you've ever closed a gate on yourself in the original, you'll know that the gate opens back up because the gate doesn't want to close on you. But if the gate is already closed and you force yourself into it, you force the gate open. And also, by being able to wedge yourself into and through solid surfaces, you can also skip things like door caps. So, with that information, enjoy what's coming up, because this is definitely one of the cooler parts of the run.
Got him.
Nice. Now that's just part 1.
Oh yes, yes. That's actually pretty minor sequence break. That in of itself, it's not too hard to get down here via another path.
This is the bigger part.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I can glitch through this gray door, and there is a huge suitless underwater section in this game, and I just get the majority of it.
Did we ever time it, or did we always just like guess it saves like 6 minutes or something?
I never timed it. I have no idea how much it saves, really.
Okay, it saves a ton of time.
I would guess 5 minutes at least, but it's just a guess. There's still actually plenty of suitless underwater stuff still, even though I skipped such a big section of it.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to talking about the escape trigger real quick that I was talking about.
Actually, do you want to talk about Lost Caverns?
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea to talk about. Alright, we'll save Glitch for another time then. But Lost Caverns, if you're familiar with Lost Woods from any of the Zelda games and the gimmick that comes along with it, that's what Lost Caverns is. You have to find the right path through the caverns or you're warped back to the beginning. Usually there's there's a visual hint, visual clues you can use to figure out your way through these caverns. But Elm and I are smart people, and we decided to memorize the route through. It was also found out late last year, I think. I sat down and I finally decided to dissect this maze in Smile. This was really confusing to figure out.
So right here, you
There's
see
a
I'm going to
shortcut.
run back and forth through this tunnel, and that's going to trigger what he's talking about.
So there's a shortcut you can trigger, which causes you to skip the last 1 or 2 directions you have to go through.
Also, the strap for
Through the
this
caverns.
fight is cool.
Yes.
But yeah.
So Lost Caverns has a small shortcut, and Fantoon can get absolutely wrecked because the rate of fire on missiles is upped. So hopefully we see a really foul poo. Well, you can absolutely wreck Fantoon with the right rhythm on shooting missiles,
That wasn't too
as you
bad.
can see right here.
There we go. Nice 2 round.
So
I shouldn't have
instead of the
started it
ghost
when I was
ruining us.
inside him. That was my mistake.
Yeah.
Also,
So instead of the ghost wrecking us, we wrecked the ghost, and his drops were crap.
Yeah, if he drops anything, there it is.
Also-
9 10s out of 10, it's
also-
just small energy.
Oh, this spark. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
yeah, this spark is rather important, if only to save time moving through underwater.
Oh yeah, this spark is a series of change that if you can pull it off, I think altogether it's like, what, 30 seconds if it's a full completion?
It's more like a minute.
Yeah, it saves a good chunk of time, and it looks really cool.
So that's part 1 of it. Part 2 is extremely precise, and I rarely get it. I need to get a speed fall off this. I got it.
Oh my god, you got it, dude! Nice. So the full
GG.
spark looks really awesome, and it saves like a good minute, like Elm said.
And the good part about getting this spark
Very nice.
is, when you finally do get it, it makes things so much easier to get up to this point in gravity. And there you go. I don't think I've ever seen Elm completely pull this off during a run yet, till this point, so that is impressive.
Sorry if I blew anyone's ears out. That was just
No, it's alright. I'm good
that
at
was
least.
worth it though.
No, that was so worth it. I don't care. You can be as excited as you want. That was an excellent moment.
That just skips a lot of slow underwater movement.
So the run would be considerably longer if we didn't have that Shine Spark or the gate skip we did before we fought Fantoon. Otherwise, there's just this. Those two things combined skip and speed up so much of the Suitless Underwater segment that it makes this portion bearable.
Okay, I'm about to go for a really difficult trick.
Oh boy.
You're really going for it.
I call it Spike Spark because I think that's more correct, but people will call it Spike Suit, Flash Suit, whatever.
Yeah, so in layman's terms, the invincibility timer Samus has after taking damage, and the spark timer, for whatever reason, use the same memory address. So if you unmorph at the right time and kick off a spark after taking damage from a spike, you can store a Shine Spark, much like Blue Suit, if you're familiar with Blue Suit. But you can store the Shine Spark to use whenever you want, at the cost of limiting some of your movement options. You can still run, but you have to be careful about your jumps. If you do a straight jump, or if you press up or angle up and press jump, you lose it. This, if I can get it, if I were to get it on first try, this would have saved about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, like 1:40.
This is a 2-frame perfect trick, I think.
The unmorph window is 2 frames, and then the spark is 1 frame.
Okay.
This is extremely difficult. Yo! I got it!
Nice! Oh, baby.
There we go.
This is basically required for world record attempts at the point I pushed the game to, unfortunately, which makes running it really, really crappy, but...
You know, I don't think we've talked about that, so while you're running through the underwater section...
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
So I don't know if you talked about the loop that this skips, but I need to get a 3rd Guardian in... Oh, that's not good. Okay, we're fine. I need to get the 3rd Guardian in Criteria, and normally this would require looping back through most of the underwater section and opening a wave gate. But now that I have the splash suit, I can spark through the floor of the endpoint of that loop, so I can get there much faster. I used to not go for this in runs because like it only saves 1.5 minutes, and you can easily lose a lot of time just attempting it. This probably barely saved time with how many tries it took me to get it now, but just really, it's definitely worth going for, at least to show off, because it's really cool.
So that one block Elm just sparked through. This is the kind of crazy thing about that spike suit. That one block Elm broke through is the only block you can really reasonably shine spark through from the bottom there. And for a time we used to have another method of getting through that block. So when we finally figured, hey, why don't we just spike suit this? It kind of made this trivial. But I found it really interesting playing around with this a long while ago. We used to do a spark chain to do this, that shine spark, and that single block Elm broke through is the single block that has the block removal PLM on it, which causes the blocks to be removed. So it was kind of I don't know if I want to call it well placed, but it was very aptly placed in making or being able to. Oh boy!
I needed a super there. Like, okay, Kagos are really bad with dropping supers, and you need one in Meridia. I'm about to go to Meridia. They're just notoriously bad at dropping supers in this hack. I've lost minutes trying to get them with particularly bad RNG before. So really glad I managed to get one there. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
I was pretty much done anyway. It's just out of all the difficulty that I went through to figure out how to spark that got up to that Guardian, it's just I found it kind of interesting and or ironic how the one block you could get through was the one block you needed to get through at the time.
Yeah.
So as a point of comparison for most people, just so you understand, when these two people started running Redesign L in person, I have to explain this part.
That's
Originally, the best possible time they thought for a deathless run, being very careful, making sure everything's down to point, was like what, 3:59?
I quote in my own words, in a text document, which I'm not quite sure where it's at right now, a decent deathless run would be 3 hours and 58 minutes.
There we go.
And boy, have we really crushed that. Also, Elm missed a 10-pack of missiles that were really important.
Oops. Yeah,
And he's not going to see them ever again,
Nope.
because we don't come back this way.
I'll have to live without them. Also, sand sucks in redesign.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
It sucks.
I can't believe I fell in this deep. That sucks.
Oh, insert possible jokes.
Well, I'm glad I got to show off how
a-
bad sand is in redesign.
Angled down spin jumps get you out.
Yes, they do.
I'm trying.
So, now we gotta talk about this because we fell in. The Santa Maria is very, very unforgiving.
crap,
If you
dude.
get caught the wrong
Can I get out of? Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
I was
you can.
actually,
You just gotta...
way. Okay.
I was actually pretty scared.
Yeah.
In most cases, there is certain spots where Drew put in a, okay, you can leave this pit point, but 9 times out of 10, if you fall in sand, you have better have a save somewhere nearby because that is a rip.
I was actually legitimately afraid I wasn't going to be able to get out of that.
I'm glad we made it to get out of that.
Run over, guys. Let's go home. Oh wait, we're already home. Let's just cry.
Let's just cry and try to get out of here. But yeah, there's a lot of things within redesign in general that are just moments that are just not precious or special in any way, shape, or form. They just further seek to aggravate.
They're precious in retrospect, and usually only when witnessed by other people. I love watching people play through this game. By the way, if you're ever playing this game, just like hit me up, and I'll watch.
I will as well. Not as much as Elm, but I will.
And if I'm not busy, I'll watch as well. So the room you'll notice that we just came back through is the old glass piece tube that was in Craig's area. So what we did is we did this loop around because now we're coming up for an item that is literally going to increase the movement speed that we have and make some things more possible and more impossible at the same time.
This is an intended sequence break that I'm doing actually. It's a chain spark that I'm going to be doing to get screw attack early. Chain sparking is not required to beat the game. It is required for 100%, and because of what screw attack does to your movement, you'll see it when I grab it.
There's also another reason for it.
We take a detour to Norfair just to grab it. Normally, I just plow on through to the next through the fork into the next part of Meridia, but I do want to take this detour for screw attack.
Now, I'll explain this for my own sake of explaining this. I did try to do this casually, and I've done it over time with multiple save states, and I've done one completed version of it. This chain is... Oh, by the way, 25 missile door. Ha. This chain is very tight, and if you don't end up moving the right way during it, it does hurt. Because you will bleed. Again, you'll just bleed moments.
Yeah,
it's mainly just time loss.
Yeah, so I struggle with starting this chain in particular a lot. I am particularly bad at this one. I don't think Person has as much trouble with it. But once I get this, I want to spark into the alcove that screw attack is in. And wow, how did that not work? So I want to spark into an alcove that I jump down towards. And there's a 1 tile width where I'm going to be able to chain into the alcove because there's a small slope there. And that chain's going to be fairly... It's somewhat important because I want that spark to get back out as well. If I don't manage to pull this off, then I'll have to take a loop around, which is like 30 seconds, but
And a super.
Alright, got it.
Nice.
So...
Telling you that cue for the platform you jump off of is really useful.
Wow, okay. I botched that, so...
Oh, okay. Well, he kind of got it.
Sort of.
Animal Spark Out is supposed to land you on a platform, which you can then just jump back across the room from.
Oops.
But as you can see, Screw Attack is increasing our movement speed when we use it, and Screw Attack is different in redesign in the form of you're actually being propelled forward with a little bit of speed booster velocity, so you actually have to hold the run button while you're spin jumping in order to activate screw attack. So keep this in mind, because some people will sit there and be like, why is it not working? Are you holding run? No.
Yeah.
Screw attack's really cool because it improves your movement, but at the same time it makes Samus more difficult to control.
Oh, yes.
But being a spinning ball of fast-moving death is kind of cool too. So
You have to be holding run to activate screw attack, and that feature is partially because you don't always want to be moving at the speed screw attack takes you.
No goodness, no.
So it's kind of but at the same time, having to hold run all the time when you want it on can make it difficult to have it active at the right times.
okay, so
Oh yes.
I'm just gonna make a loop around Norfair here to pick up a stray guardian. At least that's what I've started calling this guy. This guardian kind of fits into any route pretty seamlessly.
He's a floater, like
but
you can
yeah.
do this one at a lot of different points.
So Elm was talking about a pair of green gates that are I don't know how to put this. A pain?
Very special would be a good way to put it.
So there's no real good place to farm super missiles near these gates. So if he misses them, he's going to suffer. If he misses either of them, he's going to suffer a pretty fair time loss. Luckily, we figured out some drop manipulation to assist in getting super missiles if he needs them.
And said drop manipulation has not been working at all lately.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Iron Jesus has not been a friend.
There's not just two gates, there's three gates really, but it's the first two that are the biggest problem. There are two green gates and one red gate. We call them the Christmas gates because there's green and red, and when you get through them, there's cause to celebrate.
I'm actually gonna get this backup super pack. I don't normally get this, but I think I will.
Oh, okay.
If,
That's fair.
assuming
yeah.
I don't. Hold on. So the door that I'm about to go through actually locks behind you, so I don't want to screw this up. So this is the 2-pack of supers that's really close by. I wouldn't get this in a real run, but just to give myself a little bit more leeway, I will get this.
Oh, that's how you get those. Okay.
Yeah, this was a backup that I think Elm actually came up with a few days ago, which is rather nice, but it unfortunately doesn't fit into the current fastest route.
I also keep forgetting to do it when like a live event like this does arise. So glad I remembered.
Yay!
Makes
Right,
up for those
so-
10 missiles we're not getting.
I almost forgot the Guardian after all that.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, don't forget the Guardian. That's a little important.
Oh, yeah, there is so much farming to be done in this hack. Like, just when you think you're safe, you have to farm again. That's just how much there is in Redesign to farm.
So this is the hidden path to the Guardian. There are 3 power bomb blockades on the way to it, so you better have 3 power bombs.
Newer routes can struggle with that
Yeah.
if you're not careful.
Oh,
Or faster routes, I should say.
so the gate glitches that I'm about to do are basically I'm taking a turbo tube that connects Norfair and Meridia, and it's supposed to be closed on both ends until you open the gates on either side of it. And it's going to take me pretty much into the heart of Meridia, so that's going to save around 2 minutes of going through Meridia normally. That's the idea, at least.
But again, there's the potential to bleed all those 2 minutes within, 5 seconds, just
Yeah.
because it doesn't work.
Yeah, so like the main problem is that I have to do 2 back-to-back green gate glitches on very limited ammo. If I was doing an actual run, I wouldn't have the 2-pack that I just spent 30 or so seconds getting.
So a pretty common theme with Redesign and its routes, I've probably already mentioned this, maybe in passing, maybe I fully mentioned it, is that the more things you tack onto the route to save time, the more difficult the game gets. That, kind of sounds obvious, but that is really, really amplified when it comes to this game. There's just... this game does not care.
Alright, here we go. It's about to begin.
Alrighty. Good luck on the Christmas gates. Alright.
Oh, also,
Actually, there's-
I'm going to be going into this room morphed so that this pirate doesn't see me. There's a pirate on the other side of this gate, and if it sees you, he will start shooting at you. And that just further complicates things.
Yes. Alright.
Well,
All right.
Okay.
Now then,
Through the first one, that gate's gonna stay open.
now you can see the biggest difficulty wasn't so much trying to trigger that gate, and I can hear the disappointment sigh.
Yeah.
The trouble was that pirate sitting on top of the gate. Elm had a couple shots that could have made it, but he got shot by the pirate, so it did not connect the way it was supposed to. So unfortunately, now we got to go farm.
Well, okay, normally you wouldn't have to farm, but because Elm got shot by the pirate, he has to go all the way back to Norfair to farm properly. The fish have a chance to drop super missiles, so long as you're full on both energy and missiles. Elm's not full on energy, obviously, so he has to go all the way back here to farm efficiently. And this is where the big time sink comes from. Or comes into play, I should say.
And
Pirates
again,
and the Cack Attack are really good about dropping supers, however.
Actually, since
And-
I have full missiles, the Gambits are pretty good about it too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I realized this the other day.
And power bombs.
Those are nice to have. Everything is always nice to have. Any kind of ammo at all. Just
I was just about to say, why don't you just leave and kill the Cack Attack, but you got your super, so.
yeah, this is actually faster, and you reload the rooms less.
this is why we've mentioned before, almost at the start of the run, and now we're mentioning it again, that ammo management is going to be a consistent thing throughout the run, even up all the way to the end of the game. So the more stuff you can find, the quicker you can find it, and the better you can maintain your stuff, the better off you are.
I would not say the more you could find. You want the most bang for your buck, so most you can get in the shortest amount of time. Those, again,
True.
being the 10-pack missiles, usually.
And the 2 packs of supers. Although some
Yes.
1 packs are worth picking up.
Yeah, if they're on the way, yes they are, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, the ones you usually get are due to ammo constraints early on.
Oh, really? First try? Okay. Thanks. Thanks, game.
Hey, at least it saves you the effort of having to go back.
Alright, now, in this room...
Get the 10-pack in here.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, seriously, please do. So-
This room has the red gate at the top.
And it is a lot harder than it needs to be to get.
Yeah, this skips, probably... I want to say like a 2 to 3 minute loop that I would otherwise have to take to get the
2
boss
minutes.
room. Did you time it?
I timed it versus the Sandfall Spark route a long time ago. This saves about 1.5 to 2 minutes.
So I absolutely hate this red gate. This is my least favorite gate in the whole run, because it's 1 tile off the ground. And that just makes it super weird.
I have
Missile through.
I have a comment for this gate when we're done.
Is it appropriate to say on stream?
Yes, it is.
2 missiles through.
3.
3 missiles through.
4!
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna use a super.
Ah.
'cause I'm actually more consistent with those. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so, about this before, when they were still up and say about the 240s for the run, they had about, say, 60 to 80 ammo.
Oh god.
One day, Elm sat there with 75 ammo on the red Christmas gate and shot all 75 either beyond the gate or at the gate by mistake.
Okay. Real quick, I want to explain something.
Oh, I
that's
didn't
going
get
on
it.
here. Oh, you didn't get it? Okay. Well, in Redesign, there's Morph Lock, which forces you to stay in Morph Ball. So you can't unmorph and do mid-air morph jumps in these morph tunnels.
You also can't unmorph and shoot that wave gate either.
Yes. However, at the top of this tunnel, for whatever, before you fall down, you can smack the top of the morph ball on the top of the tunnel, and you can hit an unmorph BTS, which would allow you to, or an unmorph tile, which would allow you to unmorph in that tunnel. And you could drop down and shoot the gate open with wave beam, as opposed to going down there and laying a bomb, and it saves a slight amount of time. It's rather nice, but these gates are being opened now because we're never going to pass back through this hallway, and those gates are used for my least favorite guardian in this hack. But it's a pretty devious guardian, and getting half of it, or like a third of it, out of the way right now is really, like, it's good because, you know, routing. Anyway.
Oh, okay. So coming up is the other reason besides the movement that we get screw attack early.
Yes.
It saves a bit of time in this fight, just a little bit, you know, not a whole lot, just a tiny
Yeah,
bit.
we'll let you.
So again, in relation
Hello
to
and goodbye.
goodbye. So in relations to weaknesses, for some absurdist reason, Drew upped the damage that Batoon takes from screw attack.
From 0,
So it takes.
I will say.
Yeah. So he upped it from a ludicrous amount, from 0 to, what was it, like 300 per frame?
8,000 per frame, actually.
8,000
Yeah.
per frame.
Batoon dies in 3 frames worth of screw attack damage.
So Batoon actually has a little over 16,000 HP, and that fight is a pain to do normally. It takes a lot of shots, and there's stuff in the way. So
that's the main reason why screw attack is so worth it. Like, even just because, or like even going out of your way to get it, it's still faster simply because of that fight. Batoon has so much health, and you're so under-equipped to fight him.
Not even just that, but if you can manage to pull off this whole route, you can see we've just passed by a purple door and a green missile door that we'll never have to open. So instantly, by doing what we do...
The green door will have to be opened, but...
Alright. So the green door has to get open, but we still managed to save 25 missiles altogether right there. So that's one less session of farming you have to do.
also that
Yes.
tube discount is open now, I promise.
Yes, as long as the glass starts to crack when you leave, which you can't move in vanilla. When the tube's breaking, you can't move like that. So that's something that was coded into Redesign. Another 2-pack of super missiles, because more ammo, more ammo, more damage, the better.
Not really, not just more damage, but Lower Norfair in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually
Lauren
we forgot to talk
is a
about that.
sucker for supers.
There's a reason that you collect so many super packs, specifically in this route, because there's an 8 super blockade in Lower Norfair.
Yeah, okay.
You have
It's
to have
special.
at least 8 supers to get through it, and if you miss a shot and you happen to only have 8, then you gotta reload the room and get all your supers back, and I'm at full health and I'm just standing at that station like an idiot.
So, if you... I don't know how much the viewers could feel the pain of the ammo management and how bad the ammo guardian was, but if you can, by any chance, understand how awful that is. Lower Norfair takes that to an extreme. Red doors, green doors, purple doors are littered all over the place in Lower Norfair. So having the extra ammo is really going to pay off.
Yeah, so
And
generally this is
the-
like RNG hell when you get to this point, because you need to use a lot of your ammo to open doors throughout Lower Norfair, and you also need to be filling up on enemies that you're screw attacking along the way without losing too much time to try and get your super count back up to 8 so you can get through that blockade when you get to it.
Yeah. That super blockade also is...
Screw attack
I
below.
think Elm's done a decent job at explaining it, but like it's positioned in a tricky manner. Ideally, you would think, I want to go in with 8 supers instead of having all these extras, because I wouldn't be wasting time picking up extra supers, which that's correct. But right above these, because you're firing these supers straight down, right above these super blocks that we're talking about, there's a Namihime which shoots fireballs. So it's not too unheard of to try and shoot a super down, and while you've jumped up to shoot the super down, you get hit by the Namihime and end up firing the super straight at it or something off to the side. You end up missing the shot. If you whiff one of your supers, the last super in the blockade is what removes the whole blockade. So if you don't get to that, the whole blockade's not going to be removed, obviously, and you're going to have to break all the other super blocks again. So if you shot like 5 out and then you whiff 1 super and you don't have any extra to get to the last one, you're going to have to farm all the way back up to 8, if not more, if you want to be safe to get through the blockade safely. And that's the main RNG hell Elm is talking about here. In addition to, it's actually kind of amplified a little bit right now because he missed a 10-pack of missiles, which is kind of hurting on the red and purple doors, but I think you're through most of those.
I'm through about half of them, I would say.
Again, that's just the biggest, consistent concern when going through Norfair, besides, being sure that you're careful not to take too much damage. It's just, again, ammo management, because purple doors, red doors, pink doors, they're everywhere.
So there's another route that's faster that I kind of touched on earlier. It involves going down to grapple after a screw attack and doing a morph lock tile skip, which is really volatile, not in the sense that Samus will be killed, but the amount of time it saves. It cuts out everything Elm's going through right now, so it saves about 5 minutes-ish. In addition to some backtracking before and after screw attack.
Yeah, it's used in the current world record run. And I actually got it extremely quickly in the current world record run, which is going to make beating that really, really, really difficult.
But because of how precise that trick is, not only does it make the route more difficult, you can also simply lose time because you just can't nail it. In addition to being pixel and speed perfect to some degree, you also have to put up with the morph ball's collision oscillation or speed oscillation, one of the two. I don't remember which it is. There's the 8 super blockade, by the way, that Elm successfully destroyed.
Yeah, so that anomaly is annoying because obviously knockback. It also does 50 damage per hit, so if you're messing up and you're taking a bunch of hits, you could be in a bad spot.
But back to that tunnel I was talking about really quick. If you are able to set everything up perfectly and execute the spring ball through the tunnel perfectly to not be stuck in morph lock, you even then still have a 50% chance to not get it because of the speed or collision oscillation.
The collision oscillator, yeah.
Okay, which causes you to just not be on the right position, and therefore the game thinks you've touched the morph lock BTS, and again the game just says, hey, screw you. And now we're into NES Metroid Norfair. Well, Ridley, rather. As you can see, heavily inspired by the old Metroid.
So this is the Crumble Ridge room. There are these bowls that rather complicate things. I actually, for most of this, I intentionally wait to take a hit from one of them, so that I can be sure that I won't get hit when I'm trying to run across that crumble bridge. Falling here is pretty bad. The bottom of the room's a mess. It's got red key hunters and more bowls, and it's kind of difficult to get out of.
Also, on the note of being in Lower Norfolk early, you don't have space jump, so some of the rooms become much more difficult to move through.
In the other route, rather, the one I'm not doing, you wouldn't have space jump.
Yes.
There's another gate glitch. And
nice.
Okay, reminding myself to save this point because I frequently forget.
Yes, please do. Just because I know the next 2 sections are complete and total chaos, please make sure to save.
Oh, so I'm about to go into the Lower Norfair boss rush, basically, which is you have to do Ridley and then GT to get out.
Yeah, so Elmo's locked down here now. He can't get out until they're both cleared.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Ridley?
Yeah. So Ridley's room's a little changed up. Ridley himself is also changed up. He has a weakness. He's one of the bosses that does. Ridley takes... I can't remember how much damage, but he takes a ton of damage from pseudo-screw attacks.
He takes 4,800 damage from pseudo-screw attack.
Okay.
But that's at the cost of... his body damage has been raised from 40 to 120, so every time I screw attack into him, I'll be taking 120 damage, and that's not good.
Right. So the idea of the fight, Elm's going to start out with laying an X Factor or two, or I do too. I think Elm's going to use all his power bombs to get as many X Factors in on him as possible.
X Factors also do a crap ton of damage. Each full X Factor that connects will do 5,400, and he has about a little over 30,000 health. So right there, I just accidentally took a hit from his body. Normally what I try to do here is I try to rely on getting hit by a fireball, so that I can center the X Factor on him without taking body damage, but I didn't get hit by the fireball. I was expecting one.
Okay, and when he runs out of this, he's going to spam missiles and supers. The broken Metroid tube, for whatever reason, actually is somewhat of a safe spot, despite them being completely air tiles. So when Ridley pogos, Elm can kind of take a little bit of refuge in the broken Metroid tube.
And pseudo screw tech.
And yeah, pseudo screws will finish off the fight by doing a ton of damage. And that's Ridley.
That's a very scary fight, just because of his ability to do 120 damage by hitting you. It's very, very easy to die if that fight goes wrong.
Ridley's usual energy tank.
He has 18k in vanilla. This room actually has a hole in that invisible floor where you can fall into the acid. I've actually died there before.
So, next up, as Elms mentioned already, is Golden Chorizo. And we used to farm a ton outside of Ridley's room after killing Ridley to get our ammo back and whatnot, so we could be prepared to fight Gold Chorizo.
Yeah,
and
this room is awful.
Yeah, this doesn't look too bad, but then you realize that GT actually steps on all the blocks and destroys them. But we recently, well, late last year, found a setup to get GT stuck in a corner. Go figure, right? What's a GT fight without him being stuck in a corner? So, I'm just going to sit here for 2 minutes, aiming up and shooting, and that might seem really slow, but believe it or not, it's actually on par with what we used to do. This is just easier and cuts out a lot of tedium.
It also makes absolutely sure that you have good health and good ammo coming out, and you need that.
That's very important for exiting Lower Norfair. So instead, what we used to do is we would farm everything pretty much to full after Ridley, power bombs included, and when we get into the GT fight, we would use X Factors. We would use a shoddy setup to land X Factors on GT.
Hey, it's not shoddy, it's pretty good.
Okay, it is pretty good, but it was tricky because Golden Chorizo has invincibility frames, so if he gets hit by all 4 X Factor particles at the same time, only one of them will register, so you miss out on 3/4 of the damage. So the setup involved having one particle fly in, another one come in afterwards, and GT would jump back, and we would jump at him to get the 3rd and 4th particle to fly into him in order like that. And we would do this for 7 or 8 power bombs, and then abuse him throwing hand waves to shoot supers at his back.
Which we needed to farm missiles back up for, so we had at least 32 to trigger that part of his AI.
Right, and then after all that done, we would use charge shots to finish off the fight. And just being stuck in this corner, though it's actually slower versus the other fight, because the other fight involves farming beforehand back to full, it actually breaks even. So, GT fight is easy, a little bit of a Resident Sleeper Fest, but he's dead. And
I wouldn't even say breaks even. I legit think it's much faster to do the fight like I did in the long run. Like, I wouldn't say just easier, just like consistently faster. From my experience.
Okay.
It's 20 seconds slower during the fight to fight him that way, so that's not even that much, but you save quite a bit of time from not having to farm. Like, farming is definitely going to be more than 20 seconds.
So how many guardians do we have left by chance?
I think we're halfway done.
Awesome. So the other thing we got left is going to take out Dragon and then finish the guardians.
I think my
Yep.
connection
We're
to
on a good
Discord is
pace.
a little bit shoddy. I'm hearing a tiny bit of, like, robotics, unfortunately.
I'm hearing. You hearing it from me or you?
Both you and Sacred.
Okay, I think it's on your end, so I'm hearing it from you as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's occasions that it
But
comes out of
stream
you,
is still
but-
coming through just fine.
Oh, yeah, stream
no
is still
feed.
perfect. So there's a plus.
I wonder if I should, like, try and leave Discord and rejoin. Actually, no, I don't have permissions to rejoin the channel on my own, so that would be bad.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to do right now. Besides, you're so deep into the run, you might as well just finish and we can... we'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe the issue will fix itself.
Yeah, hopefully. My internet's a little shoddy sometimes, but, like, the stream is fine, so... it should be okay.
So now we have access to plasma, and thanks to the fact we also have charge beam, we now have a very effective weapon for dealing damage.
Finally, about
Which is
time.
going to make- no, right? It's about
It's like
time
a-
for something more useful.
Took us 2 hours to get something good. Dang. Something not screw attack.
Well, something as good as pure attack without having to send us halfway across the map to use it.
Okay, so the actual stream is not good.
Well, for me it looks fine, so...
Well, we're not watching through Twitch.
Oh, so
Yeah, that's
that's not
true.
on my end, then. So...
Well, I can you still sound robotic to me though.
He doesn't sound as bad as he used to, so...
Anyway, Elm's trying to climb up these shafts using the least amount of screw attack as possible because your velocity of screw attack is a little uncontrollable. So straight jumps through those shafts are good. Here's the North Guardian. This one's pretty well hidden.
Pretty well hidden, but not too bad.
the game kind of leads you through this room, so it's not too bad. Yeah, like, the video should be fine.
Okay, yeah, apparently that's what people were saying. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna check this real quick. No?
So anyways, the whole reason for coming here, defeating Ridley and GT, is to open up access to that Guardian, and strangely enough, another one in Meridia. There's a glass tube in Meridia that normally would have passed by now. I haven't actually passed it, but that glass tube only breaks. It breaks on its own after you've defeated Ridley. Kind of mystifies a lot of casual players. They get to it and they think there must be a way to break it and they can't figure out how.
Oh, I love this tunnel. It's amazing.
Alright, if anybody wants a real explanation by chance of what Elm just explained, because I'm not sure how well it came through. I may even sound like a robot too.
No, you're
Thank-
fine.
It's actually the opposite. It's us who stand robotic and Elm sounds fine to the stream.
Ah. Okay.
Should I try and, like, rejoin Discord? There's a sort of downtime-ish. I'm going to be grabbing 2 Guardians. Should I try that?
I'll be ready to add you back in if you want to try it.
Okay, yeah.
Just join one of the other calls.
Okay.
So, while Elm gets reset here, what we're doing...
I don't think he's aware that commentary won't come through on the stream. If I'm not in one of the voice channels. But yeah, hopefully I can get that sorted out. So this Guardian requires you to go through a bunch of force damage.
Alrighty, so to explain what happened while Ellen disappeared for a
Hold on,
moment.
hold on. Let's make sure he's.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
That sounds better.
Does it?
Nice.
That's way better.
It doesn't sound better for me. Oh.
Oh no.
Well, I guess we'll just have to live with it anyways.
Victor was explaining how the rest of the game from now on out is pretty much Guardian cleanup. There's a few things here there that we're gonna do sparsely.
My health is really, really bad right now. I'm actually gonna farm for safety here. I don't normally do this, but I'm worried.
So what we're doing now, we're getting ready to go take on Dragon, but we're also getting the Guardians that are on the way that we have forgotten, because we now have the accessibility and the survivability to do so.
Yeah, this room is absolute hell. It's very difficult to move through. In fact, I died in this room, so you guys already know that.
Yo, where are you going? You're missing a Guardian.
Oh, thanks. Oops.
Whoops. See, this is how big Redesign really is in a nutshell, is you can forget the simplest of things, even if you are a master of it.
So all of the story is now cleared out. We're never coming back to it. Everything that we have left to do is, well, I mean, we will be coming back to it, but one room looks like a Meridia room. It might as well be a Meridia room. But everything from on out is in Meridia. We're channeling our inner senses and learning to speak robot. Oh, that's a really cool screw back jump.
That was, but in relation to that, wouldn't that be our inner mother brain voices then?
No, because Metroid is a robot, don't you know?
Things I'd like to say, but I can't for 300, please.
So that tube Elm broke earlier, he's gonna jump up through it now. The one that didn't look broken, that's not the one. The one he broke earlier is up here. And that just serves as a quick way to get to a door he needs to get to. And coming up is the last gate glitch in the run, which unfortunately is actually worse than the other green gates in Meridia, which don't have it's the farm near.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if you thought Christmas gates were bad, this one takes the cake and takes it all the way from the bakery to a fat kid house.
At least there's only one gate
Bad.
here.
yeah.
It's only
Also,
one, but
don't
it's still...
forget the missiles in the ceiling. We'll probably want those.
Alright, thanks.
So also on the way up, on the way over to take care of Dragon, you notice the sandfall we just passed through. Just as a heads-up spoiler, there's a series of jumps that need to be made, and that sandfall is practically good at disabling you from jumping for some odd reason. On God's green earth, Drew thought it'd be awesome to put in stuff in the sand. I don't know if he coded it in or if it's just the way it works, but you can't jump in the sand. And if you try to, you only get one jump, and then you're thrown out of your spin and put depth straight.
That's actually due to the remake of
Yo!
This. Are you throwing first shot?
Yay, for
Nice!
try.
The remake of this hack has a mechanic that really inhibits, I think that's the right word, your ability to space jump in sandfalls. In Redesign, the original, it's just more due to the falling speed and the timer on being able to re-jump, and the way that this sand is, the way that the tile properties of the sand are positioned, that causes this to be difficult.
By the way, nice safety catches.
Thanks.
So, after our favorite kind of door, our favorite color by this point, purple. Not actually my favorite color, but anyway, is Dragon. Dragon lies beyond this door, and Dragon has weakness. And most people would not think to bomb Dragon, but you can indeed bomb Dragon to kill her in this as a weakness, or as that is the weakness. But the nice thing about this route, doing the warfare first, is that Elm has Plasma Beam, which is going to do the same amount of damage as bombs would. So this is going to take a combination of 9 bombs and or charged plasma shots. So when a couple of those screw attack, this fight is going to be fairly simple. So land some bombs.
It's pretty ridiculous that a bomb actually does as much damage as plasma in this fight.
But hey, you know as they say, DPS is DPS.
It's supposed to be, like, I guess, like a puzzle, sort of difficult to be able to bomb Dragon, but it's actually quite easy to do during group phases. More than I thought originally. I originally stayed away from the bomb strat because I thought it was going to be, like, super difficult to land and I was going to miss out on charge shot opportunities. It's actually much easier than I thought. Oh, grapple kill. That's good to talk about, actually. So the room is built in such a way that unless you do the quick grapple kill method, you can't actually, Dragon won't actually fly near enough the turrets for you to grapple kill. But if you do manage to latch onto them, they do like 4 times more damage to you than normal, so you will just die.
Yeah, there's not enough health currently. Or does not have enough health currently to even attempt that. He would end up killing himself, so...
And even then, it's not considered wise to do that when you, again, could just use regular plasma or bomb combination to shoot 9 times at Dragon and end the fight sooner.
I was not prepared for the ban.
Shout out to all the pair.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the paradise, where everything comes in pairs. At least this time we brought the pears and left the bread at home.
Yeah. No loafing around for us.
So now that Dragon's dead, that unlocks a lot of doors in Meridia that is going to allow me to clean up the last few Guardians. I only have the Meridia Guardians remaining, so I'm going to get all 3 of them right now. I have to do that loop around to open that remote switch that unlocks the way to the east one. And then I'll be grabbing the Ridley tube, and then the probably most unfair Guardian in the entire game after that.
So yeah, no matter what, the big drag out of the game falls.
I can't hear you at all. Hello? Hello? Am I even in Discord anymore?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're still in Discord. I just don't know if it's
Hello?
cooperating.
It is absolutely not cooperating. I think it sounds a bit better
Yay!
now.
So the whole pain of this hack, it comes in from the increased difficulty of the gravity and the movement systems and the Guardian hunts. If it was not for the Guardian hunts and just the increased gravity, this would probably remove about, say, 30 minutes of the game's actual core, give or take.
What are we talking about?
The Guardian system.
Oh. Yeah, I guess so.
Like,
In a casual playthrough, I would list the Guardian Hunt as like the back third of the hack, because most players don't. Most players kind of go into it thinking, okay, I'm just gonna clear out all the bosses, I'm gonna get Mother Brain that way, and that's not really the case. A lot of the Guardians are hidden a little too well, honestly.
Yeah.
Pretty good though, some of them. And this last Guardian coming up is probably the worst defender.
I watched some very accomplished Super Metroid speedrunners play through this hack casually, and Usually takes them about 24 to 30 hours to beat the whole thing.
Can you give a list of people who have tried playing this hack, just off the top of your head?
Galamaz in particular is who I'm thinking of, but also Schmemann tried it out recently. And, who else? I forget, I can't remember right now who else I've watched play this.
Be interesting to see, like, Zoast, Behemoth, or Oach try to speedrun this. They would definitely lose their marbles then.
Anybody who's well established in Super Metroid to the extent that they are, I don't think they would even attempt to even play this. The gravity is way too drastic.
Yeah. It's like, this is... this is extremely different, like, it might be hard to understand how much unless you play it for yourself, but... Like, there's a lot that does transfer over from SM, but there's a lot of, like, really unique skill sets you need for this game.
That without question.
And it's...
So this tube is...
Go ahead.
The tube that is now broken that leads to this Guardian is probably one of the dumbest things when it came to routing this. We initially thought that, you know, or most people think, okay, I can powerbomb this tube and it'll open. Well, you can't break glass tubes from the outside in this, so you have to powerbomb from the inside of the glass tube. Thing is, you can never get inside this glass tube unless you do some kind of ice clip. Even then, I don't think you can break it. It doesn't have the properties to break. So for the longest time, we thought, okay, you know what? Dragon clears the tube. So when we did a route
Sand
switch...
Canyon Spark, by the way. This is going to save 5 seconds and a super missile.
Yes. But that tube used to think Dragon would clear it. We tested it one day, and it didn't clear it. The tube didn't break, so we were like, well, what's going on? We eventually figured out that for whatever reason, Ridley, or Golden Trezo, one of those two Lower Warfare bosses, is actually the trigger for breaking that tube. So, alright, that's fine and dandy. Then we switched routes, and the tube stopped breaking again. And that was really, really peculiar, because we had already cleared Ridley and Golden Trezo, and it turns out that the Meridia bosses do something with that tube that causes them not to break immediately after those bosses have been killed. So we have to go hit a trigger in a door to open them, and the tube is just awful. Anyway, if you remember that giant morph maze we went through earlier in Meridia to open some blue gates, this is the bottom portion of it, to open the last 2 of the 4 gates to get to the last Guardian. No relation to the game at all, though it'd be something to see a modern day game built in the SNES. Especially into a SNES game.
So as you can see, we had a free run through, only to be greeted by yet another purple door.
Yeah, so that is, I have as much ammo as, I'm going to have until Turian, and pretty much all of it's going to be used to get from here to Turian.
Or Guardian, because it's hidden randomly in the ceiling.
Yeah, so those 4 gate switches, you have to find them to open the hallway to get here, and then once you get here, it just looks like a passageway, and you have to find the Guardian in the ceiling. I mean, you can X-ray it, it'll reveal it, but, everyone that I've watched has struggled with this. Not knowing what to do here.
Also worth mentioning that X-Ray is hidden away in Brinstar, because we're not going to go back to find it. It's hidden away in Brinstar, and you have to do a couple of chains of Shine Sparks, and then end with breaking through a floor made of Shine Spark tiles. Which, by the way, you cannot spark through in that spot.
There's no chain, just a somewhat precise either speedball or space boost. Guess we'll call it.
It's just a weird combination. It's unfriendly.
Alright, and on our way to
Moment of
Turian.
truth.
Alright, did I get all the Guardians?
Well, if the screen starts shaking, we'll know.
This is the gate.
Pretty sure you did.
And
Screen shakes regardless.
No, it doesn't, actually.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Okay.
Nope, it
Oh,
actually releases you and tells you that you don't have it, and then send you on your way. So if the eyes light up and the screen starts to shake, you see access granted, proceed to base Torian. As mentioned before, earlier in the run, to explain ahead of time, there are several doors coming up within Torian that are enemy-based locks. We're gonna try to...
one with enemies they could be locked by.
I know, right? And there are some of them that we can sort of squeeze around if we go fast enough and do a couple of tight mockball points. But most of them we're gonna have to get through, and
Yeah, there's
well,
there's
we're gonna have
one
to
there's
become
one Metroid
bait.
room that I'll be able to skip if I mockball under a gate. Another purple door in the entrance, so I'm pretty much drained of all my ammo at this point. Door lock's behind me here, so I need to make sure that I at least have some left to kill Metroids here.
So the thing about Storian is that oh, okay.
Yeah, that was...
Nice
All the doors
recover.
locked behind you. So at any point you run out of ammo and you can't kill the Metroids, well, you're kind of boned because our bombs don't work on them here.
Yeah.
It's all I see ammo.
Yep.
There's a reason these are called Drutroids, because they're written with Drew's logic and you're not beating them otherwise.
Oh, these aren't Drutroids. Drutroids are in Axial Edition. They're a lot worse than this.
Oh yeah, true, but still.
Uh,
These Metroids have somewhat of a rewritten code, so they sort of suck a little harder.
No, they don't.
No,
They're
they don't.
just sped up.
They're just their speed values are changed, so they're much faster. It's like extremely difficult to avoid getting grabbed to the point where it's just better to attempt to group them. Also, I'm not really going to be shooting many supers at them because super drop rates on these Metroids are absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, abysmal's one word. Utter garbage would be the actual point to get to.
Like they're actually extremely rare.
So if you happen to get super drop,
And
good lucky.
here's the room that I can skip a room in, mockballing into that gate.
Nice.
I've had runs
So,
where I
Elm-
just completely forgot to do that and had to go through the whole extra room.
Elm uses metamorphs and bombs to get the Metroids off. In vanilla, where you can do that, or you can roll back and forth to get them off. That doesn't work so well in Redesign, the rolling back and forth, because your speed values of morph ball are so low. But because the gravity is so amped up in Redesign, that's actually rather advantageous here. Because you fall faster, therefore you fall past the bomb faster, you can shoot up and the Metroids get frozen and, you know, yada yada.
And bombs trigger sooner too, don't they?
I think they do actually.
Wait, yes, they are. They framed earlier. I think 10 or so.
A combination of everything. If you can time a jump like you can see here, he tends to jump, he shoots ice after the bomb goes off, so the Metroids freeze, he can shoot a few missiles, he gets a good plethora of drops, and we'll move on.
You know, this would be faster if the bots were playing the game instead of trying to do commentary.
Oh, trust me, it'd take a halo longer if I was playing. We'd probably be here for about 5 hours.
Since, let's see, my world record in this game is a 2:17:16, and the task time is 1:23:45.
Well, again, task cuts a lot of
It's
stuff
actually
out.
shorter than that.
No, it's not.
It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anymore
What do you mean?
because someone re-uploaded Saturn's task with the real-time counter on it.
Yeah, but that includes the intro.
Oh, that's right.
I factored that out
Okay.
just to compare. Wow,
Okay, so I did time it right.
I do not like my health. Okay, so I'm done the Metroid rooms. I don't have as much health as I would like, so I'm gonna be refilling anyways, but I'll still go for skip.
Yeah, due to Screwtag's properties, Metroid skips a fair bit easier in this, but, you know, things still happen. Hopefully not here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's...
things still happen. Sorry, go ahead.
The biggest save in the task is the amount of backtracking it doesn't have to do.
That was close.
So you'll notice, because we actually have a chance to talk about this, if the Metroid latches onto you, you've just lost total control of your bombs, everything else, and it's just gone.
There's a room coming up here that, the side upper room is actually cruelly placed after the big Metroid room. Fortunately, I have screw attack, so should be able to get through it okay. Still a bit scary, though, with 1 HP. Alright.
Once you get past that, we have this wonderful, convenient save station missile refill. Please save.
Alright. And another purple door. Because why not?
Well, come on, you're only at the last spot in the game. It's not like we'll see this again.
And we have the classic Zebetite skip, which is actually a lot more annoying with redesigned physics. Oh, really? I haven't actually... Okay. Yeah, this is harder. There we go. That was a struggle and a half.
And now the wonderful fun of DPSing Mother Brain Tank open. Because it's always been a pain in the arse.
So I don't have beam combo, so I have to switch back to plasma to have the best damage output. Mother Brain is actually very weak to supers in this. Each super is going to do double the damage of a plasma shot, and it's going to take 48 plasma shots to clear this fight. Also, rainbow beam damage has changed. Actually, I'm going to stop talking now because.
Yeah, you should focus on this.
If you want to talk, go ahead.
I don't know what all really to say.
Rainbow beam
instead of-
damage.
Yeah. Instead of the rainbow beam taking off 300 HP, the values have been changed so that it takes off 439. So the minimum amount of energy takes this room can be completed with is 4. As Elm stated, Mother Brain is going to take 48 shots of charged plasma beam. A single super missile will account for 2 of those charge shots. Other than that, Elm can use screw attack to screw attack through French fries or eye lasers, and catch up you can use the screw attack for. You can't screw attack through onion rings, and cheeseburgers. You just kind of cheeseburgers or chicken nugget, whichever you like to call them. You can either bomb out or just hit the middle hitbox and take 0 damage. Alright, looks like Elm's through.
For the most part. Couple shots left.
Okay. Yeah, so the threshold in the original, with the full Wave Ice Plasma combo, would be 20 shots to kill, or 20 shots to get out of this phase, and 15 shots. Well, no, I mean in the original.
Oh, sorry.
With Wave Ice Plasma, it would be 20 shots to get out of second phase. At 15 shots, she would start catch-upping. In this, it's 48 shots, and she starts catch-up beams at 36 shots. But, alright. So, you'll notice, Elm lost his gravity suit. He didn't just lose his gravity suit. He lost everything except for Morph Ball, bombs, wall jump boots, and his beams, but his beams are going to get replaced by Hype Beam. So he's pretty bare bones right now. And that is very important because the escape is certainly something.
Yeah, we will talk about that in due time. Escape is definitely one of the more interesting, intricate parts of design per se.
Yeah, so basically I have none of my items except for morph wall bombs and wall jump. Escape features a lot of dangerous things, like, first part of it, the first half of it, there's not much danger. This fight, MB3 is actually pretty dangerous, since I'm taking 4x damage, and I don't have my items, and gravity sucks, so it can be difficult to dodge.
Rings hurt like a mofo.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
I just got hit by 2. Oh no, I got hit by the bomb on the floor.
Yeah, you took a
Yeah.
cheeseburger on the foot, so... Yeah, if there's one thing that can be explained about this fight is if you don't keep relentlessly hitting the brain, this is not free by any chance.
It's the complacency fight, I will say. You
Yeah.
get complacent, you die. I've died on this before.
Alright, so the escape timer coming up. Might have a little bit of shell shock to it.
That's a word. For those who have seen this run before, you know exactly how long it takes, but there it is. 25 minutes.
Oh yeah,
that's
are
popcorn.
did you have plans to do anything with the animals? Or you gonna let them die?
I don't know, actually. I was just gonna let him die, but... I don't know. What should I do?
I think we should save them just to have some rations.
I'm always against saving them.
I've saved them in previous marathons. I think I'll kill them this time. But yeah, so after the first half of this escape, there starts coming a lot of dangerous stuff like acid rooms. I don't have gravity anymore, so I'll be taking a ton of damage if I fall in, and it'll be difficult for me to jump out. There are actually 2 Metroids in the escape, and since I no longer have Ice Beam, I'm pretty much at their mercy if they latch onto me. So, gonna hope I can dodge them. And after that is some suitless underwater, some escaping rising lava rooms.
Oh yeah, there's also this evil little trick about putting a missile expansion in the escape. And nothing drops missile drops. And there's 2 red doors on the way out of the escape. So Elm wants to be really careful about using missiles.
Yeah, so if you shoot an extra missile here, your run is over. Unfortunately. There's a mock ball I can do in this room under a gate, similarly to the one I did earlier in terrain. That skips another room. There are a few of these like little tiny shortcuts here and there that I found out about all these from watching the task actually. But a lot of this first part is figuring out where to go. There are some rooms where it's not entirely obvious. There's a shortcut right here.
And again, no pressure, but anytime you can save is time well spent, because you're trying to get out of here as you can.
Okay, yes, for the escape, yes. I would say anytime you're trying to say redesign, it's debatable.
Yeah, anytime you
Extra
try
time well spent.
Yeah, yeah. There's some time saves in this game that are just absolutely horrible to go for.
So yeah, we also apologize for the consistency of the next possibly 13 minutes continuing onward of just explosions in the escape music. The benefit? No Willow health alarm.
Hopefully.
Don't count your chickens too early.
Alright, S.
Okay, we're praying for no health alarm. But I think we can definitely see the worst parts of Torian are coming up right here.
Nope, not quite.
Moments.
Nope. He's still gotta go through the large morph section. Which starts right now.
And that's where one of our little friends is waiting, if I'm not mistaken.
Right after it.
So you can see we're dropping down the tunnel, and then...
There's another tunnel.
I could have sworn he was a lot closer than this.
No, he's not. The escape is this long.
It's easy to forget how long it is.
Yes.
It's also easy to get lost in it. Like, you think, where am I? Oh, right, I don't know, because everything looks the same in Torian.
I think they need a new interior designer. This place is falling apart.
They need someone that can appreciate the relic that it is.
Invert tubes meme.
Mm.
So the thing to note is, though the escape timer says 25 minutes when it starts, you don't actually use all of that, or it's not intended. It's set higher than you may end up using, especially if you tend to save animals.
Yeah, if you don't save the animals, it's about like you got about 10 minutes left. If you save the animals, it's like about 5
So-
maybe.
Here comes our first batch of Metroids, or our first 2 Metroids in the escape. We abstracted around them, thankfully. Rather simple, too. So we use Mock Volunder. So, yeah. This other one... this
Surprising
other
good.
one, we use the gravity to our advantage again. Since the Metroid doesn't move off screen, we just kind of use gravity to leave them behind off screen.
And again, if you grab, unless you can somehow make it to the bottom of the room fast enough, you're boned.
Yeah, it's that
Yeah,
Metroid.
grab
I dropped a few frames. I dropped like 1,000 frames, and I think that caused the stream to cut out on their end, even though it really shouldn't have. I don't know why that happened.
Randomness has attacked. So now, for those that still have the ability to watch in here, we're in the second tightest section of the escape when it comes to jumps, and it's underwater. Because again, with the rainbow beam that Mother Rain used on us, all of our latent abilities, this includes gravity, space jump, speed booster, screw attack, high jump, you name it, anything essential has been ripped from us. Well, short of mock ball, morph ball, and bombs.
Oh, okay, wow, I missed a jump. So, I think you guys missed me falling down the really long escape shaft multiple times, so it's probably a good thing. But I think we're back now.
And of course, the hard part is, especially if you're playing this, it's not just the gravity involved, but the fact that materia is shaking consistently. And for those that have epilepsy, the background's probably not your best friend either.
I would say this is pretty tame.
Well, considering most things, yes.
So now I'm in the section of rising lava rooms. Again, your physics are super gimped in lava and acid without gravity, so if this catches up to me, I'm screwed. So,
Gotta move.
yeah. And hopefully that doesn't happen, because, like, that's the run if you die here, basically.
Yeah, if you cup any of the rising lava / acid currently at the gate, there's a couple that you can get away from, but specifically back in those couple runs, if you do get caught, you might as well just put down the controller.
This is one of my favorite strats in the game. Underwater mock ball. Possible because your jump breaks the water line for a moment. Wow, that's steam. Very rude. So this room I'm about to go in, it's not the last room that can end your run, but it is the last room you can die in, feasibly. Yes, because I have to do a series of wall jumps here. If I miss one of those, it's pretty possible for the acid to catch up to me. Yeah.
At most, you get one try afterward.
Yeah, about that.
Alright, so, we're at the ship.
Almost.
Except there's a cave-in and the ship isn't here anymore.
Yeah, so, we're not done yet.
So if you somehow, for some odd reason, make it this far and still manage to botch and die, yeah, you're going all the way back around this wonderful, again, almost 15-minute tour of trying to get out.
Yeah, you do a kill over and again. That's always fun.
Yeah, and if you don't have the charge combination, it's going to take you, well, you know how long it took Elm to beat Mother Brain.
Alright. Now, I said it's not the last place where your end can run. That is right here. We call this jump the true final boss. Because it's just as tight as the one that I did at the start of the game, but one, there's steam to deal with, and two, if you miss it, you land in water, and going back through the room is extremely slow. I have had runs where I've missed that jump and wasted an entire minute. Oh, nice wall jump underwater to catch myself. Okay, weird.
Nice.
That's interesting.
So, random side note of noticing, has anyone else
and
noticed the lightning cracking across the sky?
Nice.
There you go.
That's a good marathon time.
Yeah, it really is.
It was a very accessible time.
It's really unfortunate you died to that vile boom.
Every marathon run I do this, I have exactly one death, and it's in a really stupid spot that, like, doesn't really matter. It's not a big choke point of the run. Well, actually, that part kind of is, but I was past the more difficult part. Previous marathon runs, I've had one death to Ridley, I've had one death to Mother Brain. Usually I don't die in the grapple gauntlet, which is what I'm really scared of. Alright, so that was the horror that is Super Metroid Redesign.
That's one way to describe.
Just a ton.
It's a simple joke race between myself and somebody else, and now look what it is.
Yeah, we've been working on
It's
this
a
for
gauntlet.
a couple of years now, and come a long way with it.
Yep. It's not a forgiving speed game at all. If you thought Super Metroid was low on... If you thought Super Metroid was low on return time invested with return... whatever. This does not give back as much as Super Metroid does for the amount of time you put into it. And the boot, much more difficult.
The long story short of it is, if you do try to speedrun Redesign, first and foremost, be prepared to sink a large amount of hours just learning the gravity, learning the strats, and trying to prepare yourself for this. Because, again, the time investment return, it is lower than the original Super Metroid. And people have made a point of saying that Super Metroid is a very low return interest mistress to begin with. So, if you can stand with Super Metroid being such a low return interest, by all means, test your luck, but do not expect it to go without punishment over time.
I've seen a few people express interest in picking this up as a speed game because they think it looks cool, and I used to kind of encourage it because, like, it'd be nice to have more competition and just like more people playing the game and stuff, but I don't really know that I can recommend it at this point. And, like, everyone who has been interested has not followed through on actually running it, so... So, I mean, if you really want to, then hit me up and I'll try and help out, but I don't expect anyone to at this point.
Yeah, so you can get in contact with me as well, Personitis. I'm not trying to toot my horn here, but I'm a fair chunk of the brains behind the route and some of the findings. Elm's done his part as well, though. He's found a lot of the manipulation with drops and a lot of the room strats.
And I'm just some crazy psychopath that just happened to want to try to do this himself and is still trying to get this himself, too.
Sacred's just along for the ride.
Hey, it's a fun ride, even though it's probably not the best ride in the universe to be riding.
It's a fun ride when you're not the one driving.
You know, that can be said true about many things, but with Redesign in general, oh yeah.
Anyway, hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I was really glad I could put that on and went pretty well, I think.
26.3%. That's about average. Nice.
Alright, thank you so much, Elminster, for running, Personitis, and Sacred Hooves for commentary. I would like to ask, is there anything that can be showed off about this ROM hack that you haven't showed up in the run while we set up the next run?
Oh, I don't know if I have a save for it. I could show off escape block.
I was supposed to say, if you do happen to have a save file nearby, do know you were practicing escape one day.
I deleted that to make a backup save, so I don't know if I have it. I'm assuming we're ahead on time, is why you're asking.
Yeah, no, it's just that we are trying to set up a Sinister one for his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtle in Time run. Not sure if that. Oh, okay, apparently everything got sorted out. Beginning we had some trouble, so okay, maybe they already setting up games. So if there is no save file for it, don't worry.
I'll check real quick, but I'm not sure if I still have my save states. I was moving my save states around, and I might not have them. No, I don't have them here. I cleaned out a lot of them because they were taking up so much space. Yeah, I don't have a save handy for this, so.
Don't worry, because apparently we have everything sorted out for Sinister to make his run. So.
All right, cool, awesome. Well, thank you guys
So-
for having me, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon.
Thank you so much for the run. Really enjoyable. So, okay, and I do see Sinister most likely ready. So, if most likely we're streaming up his own stream, so we can basically give him the control